Hey guys, today we're doing a DIY of this beautiful floating flower wreath for my baby girl's room. So let's get started. For the materials, I am using 5 meters of fishnet material that I got from Spotlight. It was on sale, so I got 5 meters for $20, which is really good. I also got this dark green wool so that I can wrap it around the wreath. I got these crystals as well, which was a rip-off because they were $9 a packet, and I thought it came with 2 in a packet, but turns out when I cut it open it was just one long bead. I've got some fake greenery. This was quite expensive. It was $12 for a bunch, which I think is pretty expensive, but I loved the look of it, so I just got it. And then these are the flowers that I'm using. So these were the cheapest ones. They're pink with like a yellowy center, and they were $5 a bouquet. So I ended up buying, I think I got 12 in total. And then this little styrofoam wreath, which was like $4 or something. So the first thing you want to do is wrap your green wool around the styrofoam. So for the first one, I just wrap it around, tie it into a knot, and then I just continue to wrap it all the way around. This whole process took like 45 minutes, and my arms were like super sore. I had to keep swapping, but it was worth it in the end. Also, I'm really sorry if I'm like super out of breath for this video. I'm currently 6 months pregnant, so I'm a little bit out of breath. So just wrap it and then bunch them all up together so it's nice and tight and you're covering all of the white styrofoam. So after 45 minutes, this is what it looks like. So nice, well worth it. It's good because if you don't have enough flowers to cover the whole thing, you've still got the green sort of underneath it. So it doesn't look as weird with just like styrofoam showing through. So I just cut it off and tie a knot to finish it off. And then that is how it looks. So now you want to get started on the flowers. So I had to cut all the flowers off the bouquet. So I've got to cut through the plastic and the wire. That was a bit annoying to do. But after about half an hour, I got through all of the bouquet. Make sure you just leave a bit of this stem, like with the wire, because that's what you need to poke it into the styrofoam. So you just go in between the green wool until you see the styrofoam, and then just pierce the flower into the styrofoam. So I did that with most of the flowers, and I also added in some of the green leaves as well. I ended up putting the green leaves like here and there, but I didn't like the look of it, so I ended up just putting the green leaves on the bottom of the wreath, so they were just hanging down rather than being at the bottom and the top. You'll see what I mean in a second. So continue piecing the flowers and try and keep them quite close together so you don't see too much of the green, in between the flowers. I put a little bit on the top and a little bit on the bottom. So this is what I did at first with the leaves, putting them like some at the bottom and some at the top, but I didn't end up liking it. So you'll see later in the final product, I actually put them all on the bottom. Okay, so the next step is to add the material. So once you're halfway done with the flowers, I'm just taking my material and hot gluing it down. So in total, I had 5 meters of the mosquito net fabric. So I cut it in half. So I've got 2.5 for each side, which is super long. So I'm just hot gluing it down. And as I glue it down, I'm doing like a fan effect. So I'm folding it so I can get some like ripples of fabric rather than just a straight fabric, if that makes sense. So you can see I'm just folding it as I go and then gluing it down. And you could leave it here, but just to make it, extra strong, because I do not want it falling on my baby, I'm just taking all the material, putting it in the wreath, the hoop, whatever you want to call it, pulling it over and then pulling it really tight. And I'm actually going to put more hot glue down and stick the fabric back down on itself. So I just put a like thick line of the hot glue just where I've just glued, and then press it down. Just make sure you're not touching it with your fingers, because I burnt myself twice because I go to push it down thinking the fabric will protect my fingers, but it doesn't. So make sure you use something to press it down. So at first I pushed it, burnt myself, yep, ow. And then I just grabbed some scissors and I just used that to push the glue down to make sure everything is nice and stuck. And so that's basically one side done. And now you just have to do the exact same thing to the other side so that you have two bits of material hanging from the wreath or the mobile. And then once it's all done, it looks super pretty. So now you have to continue piercing the flowers through to cover that area. This bit was kind of hard because you've got to pierce through the fabric that's really thick. So I used some scissors and basically I just cut through like the first layer of fabric and then keep cutting down through the layers of fabric till I get to where I can see the green wool. And then in that hole, I would just pierce the flower. At first, it was a bit annoying and a bit hard to do, but then I sort of got used to it. I ended up switching to a little like Stanley knife, which worked well as well. But I just swapped between the knife and the scissors just because my hands were getting a bit sore. But as you can see in this close up, so you just pick up the material. I've got hot glue gun all over the scissors, so they look really gross. So yeah, you just make a hole with the fabric and keep cutting the fabric down. And there's the hole there, so I can see the green wool. And then you just go in between the wool and then push down really hard so you get into the styrofoam. Make sure you're actually getting into the styrofoam because you don't want the flowers to fall off onto your baby. Okay, and voila, oh my god, it is so pretty. So it's time to add the crystals. So as you can see, I thought it was two, and then turns out it's one really long string. So I'm gonna cut it in half and then just hot glue gun the exposed string because it's such a short amount of string, you actually can't tie it into a knot. So I had to hot glue gun the ends so the beads don't fall off. So these were expensive. They were $9 for one little packet. I actually told the lady I didn't want them anymore, but when I got home, she charged me for them and they were in my bag. So I ended up adding them. I'm really happy that I ended up getting them because they're so pretty and they just add to the whole thing and make it look amazing. So there's the blob of hot glue, just sealing off the end where the beads would have fallen off. So I did that with all four of them, and then I just picked where I wanted them to go. I wanted them to be like right at the front of the mobile, so I just made sure I was sticking it on the front side. So I just put a really big blob of hot glue gun onto the wool, like directly onto the wool, and then I just press the bead down and hold it in place until it dries, and then that's it. So you can see that's the big blob of glue, and then I've just pushed the bead down onto it and it just stayed like that. And so I did that 4 times for all of the 4 strands of beads, and it's so pretty. Okay, I'm just adding some extra leaves now, getting the leaves all in place. So now they're all at the bottom, which looks so much better. So I'm just going to flip it around, see how the beads looked in the spots that I placed them in. Pretty. Okay, so those are the beads hanging down there. So cute. Okay, so it's time to put it on the wall. So for this, I am choosing the spot where I want it to go. It's just going to go in the corner here of the cot, and I'm just using these rent-friendly ceiling hooks. I'm using 2. I only wanted to use 1, but only one holds 750 grams of weight, and this one is pretty much almost 750, so I didn't want to risk it, so I ended up putting 2. So my boyfriend's just helping me put them on the ceiling, and we're going to attach it on now. So I've just tied some fishing wire onto the mobile. I've just literally wrapped it around the wreath, tied a knot, and measured out the length of string that I needed from like the height that I wanted from the ceiling. And then I just did that 4 times, so there's 4 points on the mobile that it's being hung from. Does that make sense? I hope you can see this. The fishing wire is really hard to see, but it looks really nice with fishing wire because you can't see any strings and stuff. So you just have to measure out the length that you want with the fishing wire, and then just tie a knot so that you have like a knot to hook onto the ceiling hook. You can't just put a piece of string, you need to knot it and hook it on. So after some time of trying to make it all even, we finally got there. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with the outcome. And this is how it looks. So pretty. Love. How cute is that? So I hope you guys enjoyed this little DIY video. I thought I'd just film while I make this little mobile in case someone else wanted to make one very similar. But I'm really happy with how it turned out, and it looks super cute in her room. And I love that she can look up at the beads and the flowers and stuff, and it's so pretty. Thanks guys for watching, and subscribe and stay tuned for my next video. Bye!